Hey Chase, how you doing, buddy? Hey, could you just let me know if the audio was working okay, and we will get started in just a second. Just gonna adjust the camera here a little bit. Much needed. Hey, Mark Dibble. Hey, if you guys could let me know, is the audio working okay? Just give me a thumbs up, or just let me know in the comments right down here. That would be really awesome. What up, Jeff? ASD Crawler, how you doing, buddy? Good seeing you at the YDM competition that we just had. Hey, Jeff's audio is good. Thanks, Stuart. Now, guys, I'm gonna get in front of the camera in a moment, and I don't have my iPad with me, so I can't see your guys' comments coming through all at one time. Or actually, I will grab the camera at some point and just look at your comments as we go along. This is just gonna be a kind of a cool. I don't even really know what this is going to be, but I'm going to put this Ranger together. I got this airplane a long time ago, actually from a viewer of mine. He got a couple of them. He's like, hey, why don't you build one of these? And it's been a long time. So Steven, sorry about it. It's been such a long time. Now, I've gone through the airplane, I've unboxed this already, and there's a lot of things about this airplane I actually like. They had a different version of the Volantex Ranger that had actually blow molded fuselage, almost like my Phoenix Evolution. This is kind of a smaller, more compact version of that, and it's got a EPO fuselage, yeah. But like I said, I went through the kit right now, and I realized that you actually have to screw in all the clevises and the little horns and everything. So I went ahead and did all that ahead of time, so you guys wouldn't be bored with me, putting that stuff together. But this is airplane. It's going to be a really quick build on camera. That's why I kind of chose this one to do it. It's literally bolt it together, put in your receiver, and get going. Now. One of the main complaints about the Ranger in the past has been the landing gear. A lot of guys hate the landing gear because this airplane is set up for FPV. You got your camera in the front, and usually you have a fairly large battery in the front. If you can see where the landing gear is situated, it's not a good place. It's too far towards the rear of the airplane. So a lot of times when you come in for a landing, the thing would just nose over on its nose, and you get a damaged nose cone section. So. I'm not a big fan of landing gear, probably because I fly up at Kite Hill and I like to land in a lot of rough areas. So I'm going to leave the landing gear off of this airplane. I actually cut off the tail wheel in anticipation for doing this video. But let me go ahead and take everything apart here. I'm going to go ahead and step behind the camera here. I'm just going to take a quick peek behind the camera here real quick to make sure that everything is looking okay. Make sure you guys are not saying, hey, everything sucks. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna move the camera forward so we don't have such a long shot here, so you guys can actually see what my hands are doing. There we go. Get right to the edge of the table here and turn it just a smidge. Thanks everyone for spending your morning with me. I got my coffee up there in the upper left-hand corner there. I gotta have my coffee to get my morning started, right? Okay. And you guys can see over here on the left side there, I've actually taken out the accessories pack and kind of going through everything just in anticipation for knowing what to do as I'm on camera, because I hate to be left out in the dark. One kind of pro tip that I wanted you guys to pro tip. I'm not a pro, but I do have a YouTube channel. But as you guys take things out of your accessories bags, make sure you don't just throw these things away. I've made this a mistake in the past where I've just taken the thing out of the bag, and I've thrown it away, and of course there'll be like some crucial screws that are left in the bag, and then you've got to go digging for them or have to replace them because you took out your trash. So anytime you guys take these bags and set them aside, just set them aside until you're fully done building the airplane so you don't miss any of those parts that you might miss. So anyway, thanks for joining me, guys, for what we're doing here this morning. I appreciate it. Here's the Ranger. Now this is the Volantex Ranger. It is a plug and play, so it has everything. It has servos, speed controller, and servo speed controller and motor, all that good stuff. So I did go through the instruction manual, and it was really nicely written. Really nothing to be left out there. The only thing that's not really in the literature is what battery you can use for this, and I looked at the underside of the ESC, and it does say 3S or 4S, and it is a 30 amp ESC. So we have the decals here. I'm probably not going to use these. I might be doing some Sharpie on this possibly later on, but I do want to fly it kind of just as a virgin model here. So here we go, guys. In the rear here we have 2 servos. One is for the elevator and one is for the rudder. Now I took the rudder and I actually had to exercise it quite a bit. And I actually took the my X-Acto knife and I kind of poked little holes on the top and the bottom of it, just so that it would make this elevator a lot more willing to bend here, because I like to have a nice free elevator that I'm not putting so much stress on my servos. One of the things that I've noticed about this kit is that not only does it have the foam hinge here, and you can see there's actually some cutouts here and here to make this a nice hinge, but there's actually embedded hinges, plastic hinges here and here, so you're not just relying on the foam hinge to keep your airplane in the air. So like I said, I like to get these and exercise them quite a bit, but I don't know if you guys can see right there is an actual hinge, which is a nice welcomed addition. There's also this little retaining brace here that is going to keep everything nice and working and stiff, so from side to side, since there is that cutout here in the tail, the elevator. All right, so here is my rudder, and once again we have real hinges here along with the foam hinge. So it's kind of nice. We're really thinking ahead of time as far as what to do with the rudder and the hinges, I should say. Okay, so this is actually just going to bolt straight together, probably right on top of your elevator, just like that. All right, so like I said, guys, I'll go back at some points and just look at your comments if you have any questions or anything like that, or just if you want to have any comments on my channel as well. And same thing here, we have our ailerons, and they're nice and free. There's 3 hinges here. I took the liberty, like I said, of putting in my clevises, my horns here, and also the servo horns as well. And I also took the liberty of centering my servos before we got to here, so you wouldn't be horribly bored as we put things together here. So let's take out. Okay, so we have our landing gear, which is actually a well-made landing gear. Like I said, we're not going to use this or the tail wheel. So like I said, I cut this off the bulkhead, so we're going to set these things aside. I'll pull the fuselage out of the box here, I'll show you guys this, and we'll put the fuselage, and it has a metal spar for the main wings. So let's take this apart here. Okay, so guys, this is the molded, the EPO molded fuselage here. Now, the one complaint I've heard about this airplane is that the the angle of the motor here is a little too angled. So I'm not sure if that when you throttle up, if that makes your nose go up or if it goes down. So I'll have to check that out in flight. So you do have easy access to the back of the motor here in case you do need to put some washers in there and re-angle the motor. I'll have to go onto the Volantex Ranger thread on the RC groups just to see what guys have done with this. So we have the 2 servo leads here that come in for the tail, the 2 servos that are going to be on the back portion here. But the foam looks really nice. It's actually quite thick in spots, which is nice. There's the exhaust hole here. No magnets on this canopy here. There's actually a little latch right here, and it's kind of a bummer that there's not really a good way of popping this thing out. So back here is a tongue, and up here in the front is just a latch. And like I said, it's just, I feel like I'm just gonna dig my fingers into this foam as I take this guy off of here. So we'll set this aside. Comes with the XT60 connector here. And they don't really tell you which of these servo connectors is for what side, although they have one taped to this side, so I'm assuming the one that's taped to this this left side is probably going to be this left servo. That's probably the way they had it. Oh, and there's also a piece of tape here for the right servo, so looks like they probably kept each servo lead for each side there. So that's good that they kept that aside. It would have been nice if they had the little tags in there that says rudder or elevator. Okay, so before we get too far, actually let me just show you here. You do have room in the front here for a FPV camera. It's going to be nice and protected. You've got 2 little inlet holes to let air through the fuselage. keep that ESC cool. There's also a little bit of a plate here where you could probably put your receiver, which will be really nice. Now I'm going to be using my Turnigy i10 radio for this build. The only reason I'm not using my Futaba, my Spectrum DX9 is that I'm out of receivers right now. So this is a great radio for just doing park flying. I'm not intending to make this a actual FPV airplane because the only really reason why I'm not going to do that, number one, I'm not doing as much FPV flying right now, and also these are probably not the best servos as far as it being in a plug and fly. I don't know what brand they are, so I don't really know whether I'm going to trust them or not. So let me just go behind the camera real quick and just check your comments, and we will get to building. Once again, thanks everyone for joining me here this morning. Hopefully everything is looking okay on camera here. Stuart says evening from Scotland. That's a big bird. Actually, it's not too big. It's about a little more than, maybe a little less than 2 meters, maybe. Plenty of space for flight control. Yes, that's a big plane. Drift Craze number 2. How many servos? Only 4 servos. So 2 ailerons and 2, one for the elevator, one for the rudder. I like it. Thanks, Drift Craze. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started building this thing. The first thing they show is to go ahead and put the they say to go ahead and put the tail together here. So I'm going to go ahead and put these guys together. Like I said, I took the liberty of putting on the horns here, and we'll need to put on the elevator and the rudder clevis, push rods here. So yeah, so let me pull these guys out of here. Just get these things all together here. So we have 2 that are 1 length, 3 that are a single length, and this is going to be probably for your rudder. So let me see here. So we want to make sure that this stays straight, and there is an enlarged hole here for our servo. Let's see, this looks like it's going to be about the right size. Yep, let's go ahead and put this guy in for our elevator. Let's get the little Z-bend. I'm gonna bring this guy around here. I'll put this aside for him right now, and put this aside, and this aside. And we basically want the elevator to be completely straight, not up or down. So let's go ahead and take a look here. I just need to extend this a little bit. And we have our little fuel tubing guys here to keep the clevis closed. Okay, so that's going to be about right there. I like to have a lot of elevator throw, so I'm going to put this down, not on the top hole, on the, I'm going to put one down from the top hole. Actually, before we do this, I need to put that, that little guy on there, that little fuel tubing. It's always easier to put it on the small end instead of trying to stretch it over the clevis. All right, so let's get this guy going here. Like I said, I took the liberty of centering the servos already and making sure that I had them running for about 10 minutes, so we know that it's a good servo. So let's see, let's take a look there. That looks about right. It has a tiny bit of up elevator there. So I'm going to click that closed, and I'm going to slide that fuel tubing over the top of the clevis. That's going to help prevent it from coming undone during flight. All right. So what we're also going to need to do is we're going to need to attach these 2 things together here, the 2 flight surfaces, and we're going to need to put the rod from this servo to our rudder. So we'll do that in just a second. Let's grab our fuselage, and I need to find the proper screws to screw this all together. That's the one thing I like about this airplane. Everything's just bolted together. All right, let me just take a quick peek here and see which bolts we need here. Install the rudder elevator as shown. 5x8 by 2. I'm not really sure which ones those are. Let's see here. I think they're going to be all right. what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of these screws through here just to make sure that the length is going to be okay. So this is the little device that goes through right here. And is this actually going to be the real short ones? It might be the real short ones. Hang on a second. The ones that were in this little bag. So this is the bags that it came with. It might actually take these little tiny screws here, these guys here. So let me check it out, because I think those wing bolts are definitely supposed to be for the wings. Wing screws, I should say. So it looks to me like this tiny screw is going to go through and go all the way up through into that right there. And that looks about right. Okay, we'll use the short screws then. Except this screwdriver is not making it through this guy right here. Oh, the beauties of building an airplane. Let's see here. I need a thin screwdriver. You would think that it'd have multiples of screwdrivers here with a thin neck, but I'm not finding one. Sorry guys, give me 1 second here. See if maybe I can use the thinner one here. I think I found it. Yay! All right, so let's go ahead and put this together. But we need to put our connectors together here. So this is going to be the one on the right, on the left. Put this together, and both the white wires are facing upward. Let me see if I can pull these guys out at all. Nope, these are fixed in position. These are glued. It's going to plug in that guy right there. And one into the right, and like I was saying, the white lead is up so that we are keeping everything in the correct orientation. They're plugging in our servos properly. There we go. Okay, so we're going to need to tuck these wires up somewhere. Maybe I can push these leads in a little bit. Not really, they're pretty firm there. What am I going to do with these extra leads? Okay, well, there's a little pocket here for the leads, so let's see if we can't tuck all these guys right inside of here as we go along. And that's really the only spot that we're going to have for these here. It's going to be right about there. It's probably going to be the hardest part about building this airplane is getting these wires tucked up here. Now, if I happen to have plugged these into the wrong things, all we need to do is reverse or just swap the leads up over here. So it's not a big deal if I happen to have plugged those into the wrong surfaces. So let's go ahead and push these guys through. We'll hold that in place, make sure we're not pinching any wires here, and we are not. And then we have this little guy right here that's going to go through. Let's line this back up. There we go. Okay, let's start screwing in this one screw here. There we go. There's one, and I'll tighten that up in just a second. Yep, those were the correct screws. Those tiny, tiny little short screws, because basically this has a real long neck that goes all the way up into the rudder. Make sure we get this tight enough that everything gets tightened down really nice. There we go, starting to tighten up now. Wow, that was pretty easy. Okay, okay, right on. So let me put these wing bolts back where the wings should be here. And it might be a good idea to figure out which servo is operating what. So let's try this out here. I've got a servo tester here. So basically, this right side here should be my elevator. So let me just check that out. So I'm gonna plug in my servo tester here. I'll put it on neutral to start with. So this is the right lead. And let's see here. Okay, so yep, the right side lead is the elevator. So you can test that right here. It's nice you can, if you're using a servo tester, it's nice to be able to do this while it's not plugged into the airplane so you know what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to keep this lead kind of taped up here so we know it's the elevator. Now I can actually take my horn, my rod for the rudder, and we can go ahead and start plugging that in. And I'm tightening this down until it stops here. So we're really tight. And in about 1 minute here, guys, I'll take a look back at your comments and make sure that I haven't left any of you guys out. All right, so in this situation here, it'd be nice to have a stand here. Where's my stand? I actually have a stand right over here. Hang on a second, guys. This is one of the Hobby King stands. It's one of the ones made for larger airplanes. It's pretty good, actually. So let's put this like this so that we're not messing up our airplane as we are putting things together here. Okay, so get the fuel tubing, put it over the top here. Let me make sure you guys can actually see what I'm doing. All right, yeah, you guys can see what I'm doing. Great. I have to go, but I'll be back. Thanks, Drift Craze. Just before I leave, though, I thought I should say I was expecting snow over here in New York tonight. It's Friday night and no flag for us, so simulators. Oh, that's awesome. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me so much. All right. Is this the Ranger G2? This is not the Ranger G2. Okay, guys, yeah. So if you guys are checking in with us and you can't stay for the whole thing, you can always see the whole video on YouTube later on. So, all right, so let's go ahead and put it in this clevis here and horn. There's, like I said, there's already predetermined holes for these control linkages to go into, so. This one doesn't want to go in. Here we go. There we go. All right, so we'll just get the holes lined up here. We need to screw this in a little bit. Oh, that's funny. The holes for, let me see if I can put it on the other hole here. This one is a little bit too small right now. Let's see if it'll go in the opposite one. Whew, that's a tight fit. Okay, that is barely big enough. I just got the surface through here, so sorry guys, I was a little stymied there because I was like, what is going on here? Okay, so taking off the tail wheel may not have been a good idea because the end of the rudder is slightly off to one side. It's being pushed, but I think that landing gear might have been able to keep this more in line but it's not bad though. I could always glue this in place here. Okay, not a big deal. Let's go ahead and go over to the wings here, and let me go ahead and start turning on my radio here so I can actually put all of our surfaces into the receiver. Where did my receiver go? There we go. All right, so let's flip this guy over here. All right, fellas, let's take a look here. So, let me just take a look at my channel mapping here. Airplane structure, here we go. Okay, so this is a really cool thing about the Turnigy i10. It gives you the structure, so it tells you what channel is controlling each thing on the airplane. So channel 3 is going to be my throttle. So what I can do, and let's see, channel 1 is aileron, so channel 2 is elevator, so I'm going to plug this into channel 2. Channel 1, channel 2, and it is white wire up and black wire down. So that means that this one here is going to be my rudder. So rudder is going to be channel 4. Channel 2, channel 4. And channel 3 is going to be my throttle. So this is coming out of the ESC. I'm going to go right up into my, put this up top here. This into channel 3. Channel 1 is going to be aileron. And we do need a Y lead for that. I'm not sure if I saw a Y lead in the accessories package, so let's just take a look at that real quick. So we'll put this this receiver down here in just a second. But let's see if I've got a Y lead. There should be a Y lead somewhere in here. And this is interesting. They included a giant plug here for weight. I'm not sure what that's actually designed for. I didn't see anything in the inside the instructions. So yeah, that is actually quite a bit of weight. And we have a Y lead for our aileron, so that's really nice. Let's go ahead and put this in to channel 1. Channel 1 is aileron. Okay, so the Y lead is obviously going to plug into each of the wings here. We'll have, let me see here, let's have one of the antennas going outside like this, and we will have one of the other antennas going inside like this. Okay, so it's time to put on the wings. Let's take a quick peek here. I'll go ahead and turn off my radio while we're waiting. And we have this large steel spar here. Let's go ahead and put the wings together here. And I do need, well, actually before I do that, guys, I actually need to put the rod on these here. So let me put the airplane aside for a second. There we go. All right, we have one more thing of fuel tubing here, and looks like I need one more. All right, so let's go ahead and get this guy centered up here. Actually, I should probably center my servo real quick again. We'll put that at neutral and plug in the servo right over here. There we go. So that is on neutral. There we go. And we obviously want these completely lined up with the wing here, so we just need to extend this a little bit. A little bit more. A little bit more. That looks about right there. Okay, all right, let's do the other side. So always better to get these surfaces taken care of before you actually put it on the main airplane, so that way you're just dealing with one wing instead of the whole entire airplane. All right, let's go ahead and plug this into the servo tester here. There we go. Like I was saying, guys, these servos they kind of sound a little crunchy, so I don't have a lot of faith in them, although I've had cheap servos last me for lots and lots of hours. Actually, in the history of my YouTube channel, really, I haven't had very many servo failures ever, actually. I only think I've had one, maybe. And I think it was on the bench. I've never had a servo fail. Oh, I've had my elevator servo in my Fun Cub went out. That is about the only one I've ever had happen. So it was after about 4 or 5 flights. I was really excited about flying it, and I was flying it a lot. And sure enough, I lost my servo. Actually, that wasn't a servo failure. That was actually a control surface failure. The horn ripped out of the tail. That's what happened. Okay, so let's go ahead and put the wings together. And we'll put these bags aside, like I was saying, keep all your screws and everything. One thing that was pretty cool is they actually gave you plenty of clevises, screws, way more than you actually need. Oh, here's an extra fuel tubing for this wing here, because this one didn't have it. I better do that right now. Let me just unclick this guy real quick, pull it out, and we'll get this guy on here so we just don't have to go back and redo it. And most of you guys know this, but the fuel tubing is used to keep the clevis closed in case it happens to pop apart. And I am putting this on the second hole down on this horn here. So guys, yeah, I know this airplane's been out for a long time. Like I said, just a friend of mine gave this to me, and I thought it would be nice to go ahead and get this put together. And my little fuel tubing just ripped, so we're just gonna throw that aside, and let's put this together. There we go. There's numero uno and numero due. And so it's kind of nice. These things do kind of interlock together. You can see there's little portions here that keeps everything nice and straight. And this little hunk right here actually hunks down onto the top of the Volantex Ranger to keep everything keyed together. So it helps to keep the two wings together as well. So let me put the radio aside here. And this chunk of weight, like I said, this weight is really heavy. Probably stainless steel, but you know. All right, guys, in just a minute, guys, I will look back at your comments in case you guys have any questions as we're going along. You want me to check something out about the airplane. Let's go ahead and get the wings set on top here, and then we'll get the plates that are going to hold everything in place. There's 4 screws that go right down in here. So let's go ahead and plug the wings into the 2 bits, the 2 wires from the Y lead here. So this is always kind of a delicate thing to do here. I'll flip the wing over here. This is what I normally do. Make sure you keep your white to your white and your black to your black and your red in the center. There we go. There's 1. There's 2, and then we'll fire it up and we'll see if everything's working here. So I'm just going to toss this receiver down in there. I'll hard mount it, and once I get everything situated here, want all the wires to tuck in here so we're not impeding the wings from seating into their spots here. And that antenna just wants to pop up on me there. Okay, so yeah, so there's just that little hunk that hunks down in there. It's just gonna go right there. Let me back the camera up here, guys. I'll give you guys a little bit more of a wide shot now. There we go. See my pink drift car right there that I was competing with this last weekend. Lots of fun. All right, let's just take a quick. RC Aviation, I think I want to buy something like this with so much space. It's a really cool airplane because it's not very expensive. It's got a lot of space in the inside, and it's almost like a training type of airplane, almost like a Bixler 3, except you don't have the ends of the wings that flare up, that kind of give it that slight beginner feel to it. Okay, so we have our wing retainer here. We're gonna go ahead and get these guys placed in. And I believe this is for the landing gear underneath. Yeah, that's for the landing gear. So we have 1, 2, not 4 screws. I think I might have misplaced one of my screws here. Oh, here's the other one. And are all 4 of these screws the same length? This is something you do want to make sure. Yes, these are all 4 the same length. A lot of times when you have airplanes like this, you'll have a separate length of screw that goes up here, then a separate one down here, or a different size, I should say. All right, so we're gonna get these guys popped in here. Now it looks like this little cowling here needs to go underneath the lip of the motor mount right here. So make sure you do that. And I'm a huge fan. Let's see here, is this on? Yeah. I have my motorized screwdriver here, so let's see if this is gonna work or not. All right, and this is actually kind of a shape molded here, so let's see if this is gonna go in the right way here. There's a certain way that these go in, it looks like. There we go. Okay, so let's see if we can't get this to go down in. Whoa, that went in way too easy. Okay, well that grabbed, that's good. Low power, it says on my screwdriver. I know. Oh, I love automatic screwdrivers. This one's just almost out of power. I haven't plugged it in probably 2 months. There we go. That looks really good, actually. Okay, hang on just a sec, guys. I'm just gonna snug these up here because I always use the electronic screwdriver to do any really long, boring screwing in, and then I usually use my normal screwdriver to kind of feel it into place. Although that electronic screwdriver has a torque setting to it. I believe that's called the E120 electronic screwdriver. It's really, really good. It's the same people that make the E100 soldering iron that I highly recommend to everyone. So if you do search my channel on there, just search soldering iron 7007 and electronic screwdriver. I have that one and the Wow stick from Xiaomi. All right, there we go. So I'm not going to put the prop on right now. Let me see, is there any other accessories I need to check out here? We have the prop spinner, and we also have the spinner. This is the collet, not the spinner. Okay, yeah. Okay, let me grab a battery. Let's grab this 4S here that I have laying around, and let's get this thing fired up. All right, radio on. I always love that. One of the most underrated radios. It's good for park flying, probably not long range, although I have linked this to my Dragon Link and done long range flying with it. So obviously it just needs to go from the Dragon, from the radio to the Dragon, and to the Dragon Link, which is only like 2 feet, right? And let's just take a look real quick, guys. So this is this giant bay in here, and they do include a ton of Velcro here in case you want to Velcro your batteries in. Or you could also put a plate down in there with a battery strap, whatever you really want to do. But let's go ahead and plug in this 4S here. I did read on the ESC that it is 4S capable, so there we go. All right, let's see if I got lucky and I don't have to reverse any of these servos. Okay, so elevator, up is up, yay. Rudder, oh, rudder's backwards. Okay, wait. No, actually, rudder is correct. I'm sorry. And let's see, if I take this and go this way, this one should go up. Oh, that has never happened in the history of my building airplanes. I've never plugged something in and everything was going the right direction. That is insane. All right, let's try the throttle real quick. Okay, and what I want to do right now is I actually want to calibrate the ESC, so I'm going to unplug the battery. I'm going to put my radio to full throttle. And when I plug it in, I'm going to get a series of beeps because that's going to tell the ESC that I want to program the the throttle. So once it beeps a few times, then I'm going to go to the low throttle and it'll beep at me again. So let's listen. Going to go down. It's going into a program mode. Okay, let's do that one time. I should have done it after the first set of beeps. Oh, do that one more time. Full throttle. Sometimes when you do that, it'll turn your brake on the second set of beeps. So let's wait for the first set of beeps and we'll go down. There we go. Oh, hang on a second. Hey guys, I might have a package coming in, so bear with me while I'm doing my live stream here. I'm going to take my microphone off, and I'll be right downstairs for just a second. Bear with me. All right, guys. I did get my package in. All right, hang on a second. I gotta get re-mic'd up here in just a second, guys. All right. That's the package I was waiting for. That's not a RC-related package. That is a business, my other business. So let me put this microphone back on. Okay, let's see here. So I should... So it looks like I didn't do it. Let's try it one more time. It should have programmed. Maybe this ESC is different, so I might have to just trust that it's got full throttle. Let's just plug it in normal now. Because normally what happens is it just goes through a series of beeps and then you're programmed. All right, let's put the prop on. And after I put the prop on, guys, we'll finish up. I will take a quick peek at your comments. Like I was saying before, if you guys hadn't heard, I've read a little bit about this airplane, and I've heard that the angle of the prop is incorrect, so that you do have to go back and kind of shim out or put washers underneath the motor mount so you angle the prop in the correct direction. So I have a collet here. All right, so got the collet. I like collets on pusher planes because it's always pushing the collet on instead of pulling it off, which is really always a nice thing. Pop the collet on. And what the collet is just a camming system that helps to as you tighten down everything. Always like to knock this on, make sure it's fully on there. And the prop, let's see, does that match up perfectly? No, we need an adapter for the prop, which is right inside the bag. So I'm pretty impressed, guys. This looks like a pretty nice airplane. So it's going to be a fun one to kind of knock around. Once again, thank you, Stephen, for sending me this airplane. It was really nice of him. So let's see, is that the one? Yep, this is the proper. So what you use is a quick little adapter that comes usually with the airplane. And guys, a lot of you guys know this already, but if there's printing on the prop, it always goes forward. And we're going to put this together, and we're going to see if it's really unbalanced or if it's really well balanced. And we can also dynamically balance the prop as well. So this is a pretty big prop. It is 8 by 5, I believe. I think that's correct, but I'm not quite sure. And like I said, I'm running this on 4S, so I'm going to stand back here. Whenever you throw all these up, you never want to be in the way of the prop, because if they do break for whatever reason, they're going to go this way and that way. So if you're standing just to this side, you're going to be pretty safe. So I'm going to just... And it is pretty unbalanced, so I'll have to balance that prop. I'm shooting the air this way, so all my stuff over there's a lot of stuff is getting blown. So let me point the airplane towards the TV screen. How about? And that is getting quite a bit of thrust, so I'm pretty happy. Okay, so let me just take a quick peek at your guys' comments real quick. I'm gonna take the phone off of the tripod here. All right, so let's take a quick peek, look around here. Does have these little downturned wing tips here. Looking pretty good. Like I said, this front hatch just has this kind of like little notch thing. I would have preferred to have some like a tongue there, and then have magnets up here instead. But that's the way they did it. So here's the wing joiner right here. Bolts right in. Here's the ESC and the large tunnel for all your FPV stuff. And here's the spot for your FPV camera. Like I said, I'm probably not going to be flying this one FPV. I'd just like to have it as a nice point and shoot airplane for up at Kite Hill, as you guys know. And maybe I'll be able to do a live maiden maybe tomorrow or the next day here. So let me just turn the camera around here, and we'll wrap things up, guys. Anyway. Guys, thanks for joining me for this this kind of a neat. I've never done a live build on an airplane, but you can see how easy this thing was to put together. I mean, really, the hardest thing is just getting the wings. That's the one thing that I really hate to do. But this is it's a good little airplane. So let's see. Drift Craze says, you're always at Super G, why don't you pick up some magnets? I have a ton of magnets here. I can do that little mod if I really want to. The one thing about magnets and airplanes though is you don't want to get air underneath the front cowl if it's not designed that way, and if you do a dive or something like that, you get too much air pressure in there and it'll blow those magnets right off. So the way they have it right now is fine. It's just a tongue and a clasp system. I think it'll be just fine. I don't think the air will be able to defeat that system. So basically what I have to go from here is I have to just trim out all my surfaces. I have to make sure, like right now I'm looking at this and it looks like I've got a little bit of down elevator going right here. So I'll need to fix that here on this edge of the wing. Looks pretty good until you get to this side here. It might be drooping down a little bit. So I'll just need to do some fine tuning there. I didn't mention, but there's also a little pad here for your video transmitter in case you wanted to mount that there. A little hole to bring the wires through. All in all, it seems like a pretty good little airplane. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of landing gear, so I'm going to leave the landing gear off. And here's what I was talking about here. This is where I chopped off the rear wheel. But let me just see if I can scoot this guy around here and show you guys the back end. Maybe I shouldn't have chopped the wheel off. Maybe I should have just left it there. But I don't know if you guys can see this, but you see how much gap is right here? Now look on this side. The whole thing is shoved over this way a little bit. So I might need to just make it like a tape hinge just to do that. That's basically all I really need to do, because that's the spot where the servo horn is into. So it's gonna naturally want to push this off to that one side. So like I said, I think I'll do a little tape hinge. I'll pop that right there. The other thing I can do is I can actually glue right here. This is actually non-glued right here. So this, I could put some glue there and it would actually strengthen that little one spot right there. So anyway, let's see here. Let me just scroll through comments here and see if there's any questions that I might have missed. Let's see, RC Aviation says, I think I want to buy something like this with so much space. Yeah, RC Aviation, he's over in the UK and he has his own channel as well. So if you guys want to check out a really cool channel, he's an up-and-coming YouTuber. So RC Aviation says, I gotta go, see you later. SD Crawler says, looking forward to the maiden video. See you later, gotta head out to go do some work, yeah. I can't tell you guys how many of my drifting friends have been like, I really want to get into flying airplanes. So I have a couple guys that really want to fly right now. So if you guys ever see me at the track or something like that, you want to check out an airplane or you want to find out what airplane's a good one to start with, let me know. It's going to fly away. Let's see. Strong motor. Drift Craze 2. Okay, guys, that is it for the comments. Let me go way up on the comments here just to make sure. Yep, that's pretty much it. I pretty much addressed everything earlier today. So anyway, like I said, guys, this is a new thing for me to do. If you guys like this, let me know. I should doing some a maiden video pretty soon here. Let me get my coffee. But thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. And stay tuned. The two videos that I have in my Final Cut Pro X right now is the AMA show that I went to just recently, and also the Yokomo YD2, excuse me, Yokomo YDM meeting, the drift competition that we just had. This is one of the most important drift competitions that we've had because two of the representatives from Yokomo came through, Hayato and Aso. Both those guys came down, and Hayato was one of the judges, and I actually which is probably the highest qualification I've ever had, and to be judged by Hayato was quite the honor, and to be able to get second in qualification was really good. Now, I didn't place on the podium for the actual competition. I think I got sixth. I think it was pretty much a win for me because that's the highest I've ever qualified, and there was some pretty stiff competition, so I was really happy about that. So I'll have those two videos coming out probably this week or the next. It's a lot of stuff to go through. I might chop those videos up in a couple different segments because there's literally hours of video from the AMA Expo and also the YDM. And here's another thing. I might be getting some sponsorship from Gens Ace for doing some drift batteries. They're promoting some of their high volt drift batteries, so that might be coming up pretty soon too. And Tom just had a comment here, says, "Hey Jeff, I can't believe I missed your live stream." Oh, well, hey, I'm gonna end it in a moment, and it should upload the HD stream after a few minutes or so, and you can watch the whole thing. It's me fumbling around building an airplane. It was really quick, but if you want to see what it looks like, this is the Volantex Ranger. It is fully built and operational. Let me back up here a little bit. So here's the Volantex Ranger. One thing I do like about it, does have a nice flat wing to it, so it's going to be more for slightly more advanced pilots. It's got a big interior here. It's got there's the cowl down there. And I like that it's kind of trainer style where it has the prop in the back here. So let me just show you the surfaces here. Okay, Tom, and all you guys, once again, I'm going to say bye for like the 5th time here. You guys have a great rest of your day. Hopefully you guys get out and fly or drift or enjoy RC. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.